Okay, welcome back to Better Developer Docs. In this video, I'm going to show you how and why to force your WordPress website to use HTTPS. In other words, an SSL certificate. Um, there's two ways to do this. The first is super easy and just using a plugin, and the second is slightly harder by adding some code to your htaccess. So let's have a look at how you can do this first, and then we'll come back to why you should do this, just because that's probably what you're after. So the first way is to use a plugin called WP Force SSL plugin, and simply install and then activate. And then most of you will not need to do anything else after that. There's no setup or anything. Um, Caveat to that, if you don't have an existing SSL certificate for your particular website on your host server, then you will have to create that first. So there's only no setup, assuming you've already got an SSL certificate. I use Bluehost.com, which sets up these SSL certificates on a site-by-site basis every time I add a new site, just automatically. So um, I don't have to really worry about it. But yeah, if you haven't done that, then worry about it. The second way to do it is also fairly easy, but does require you to edit the .htaccess file. Um, Basically, you need to add one of these two sets of code to your htaccess file. You can find your htaccess file in the root of your WordPress site files. It's just a file called .htaccess. Just click on it, edit it, and add one of these two. If you're using the cPanel on your host, then look for the file manager icon, then look for the folder with which your WordPress site is in, and then just open up htaccess file for editing, and then you're going to add one of these two sets, not both, but just one. So if you want your website to use HTTPS and to use the www in your domain name, then you can use this code here. You just look for this line, and then you can just add these two directly after it. And this will redirect anything that's not HTTPS to the HTTPS version. You will have to edit your domain name to be that of your own website, but I'm sure you can do that very easily. If you want to use the HTTPS without the www, then you would use this set of code, and it just differs in that it doesn't have www dot here, just has the HTTPS and then your domain name. So yeah, just remember to change your domain name in this version as well. And that's it. Those are the only two things you need to do. You can hit save, and then that should be fine. Um, Now let's have a look at why you would want to do this. There's a few different reasons. From a user point of view, users know that HTTPS is a more secure way to use a website. So they will look for websites that have HTTPS, and they will avoid websites that don't have it. So basically, what an HTTPS or an SSL certificate does is that it encrypts the information that's sent between your website and the user. And so for example, if they're filling out a form, or if they're um, making a transaction or something like that, their details, credit card details, personal information, delivery addresses, that's all going to be harder for nefarious users, hackers, to access. So you're doing them a favor from a security point of view. Your users will thank you for it, and so will you, because you'll be less likely to have security issues. The other two things is that Google, from a search engine point of view, Google actually thinks that there are technically four versions of your site. There's um, there's HTTPS and HTTP, but each of those can either be www or non-www. So with all that combined, Google actually considers that there is possibly 4 different domain names for your site. And so if you don't force all of them to one of the HTTPS versions, then it's possible that these other sites can come up in um, search engines as well, and then you might have people using insecure um, versions of your site. So yeah, just be aware of that. The other thing is that if you're not using HTTPS, then Google will sometimes stop your users from actually going to your website from the search results, which will actually decrease your traffic. So you'll actually get more views if you use the HTTPS version. Also, from an analytics point of view, when you set up your analytics account, you probably used um, the HTTPS version. But if for some reason you didn't, and people are going to the HTTPS version, or they're going to another HTTP version, or one of the other combinations, then your Google Analytics might not actually be tracking um, all of your site users properly. So you need to force them all to one one of these, right? It has to be HTTPS for the above reasons, and it could be one of these two, and it could be the www version or the non www, as you wish. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, that's more or less why you would want to do that, and we'll leave it there for now. Thanks, guys.